All right, so it took me about 8.5 minutes to go put this tent up with no instructions, just intuitively looking, realizing that they're color coded and putting some tension on and looking inside here into the tent. And the material, while light, does feel fairly sturdy. And you can see the light goes in there. I could put some more guidelines in, but for the most part, I just wanted to show you how fast it was and how easy it was to set up. The bar on the top is a little tight for getting some tension. I did look at the instructions for a half a second when I was doing that part because I didn't want to break it. But for what it is and how well it's made, and there's I haven't finished putting that up. I just wanted to see how quickly I could set it. But that's a pretty good setup. And the material is light, but it's not super duper light. And I would probably put a guideline here to keep that off. I don't know why they did the cutout there. And for venting, there's supposed to be some venting here. Where is the internal venting? I don't know. I guess that's it. I guess that is the venting to get in and get some air in there. I thought there was, I don't know what these are for. I'll have to go research that a bit, but there's one on either side on these sides. It is a freestanding tent. And I never understood why people were so crazy on freestanding tents, because the reality is that you still got to peg things down. So it's, freestanding, not freestanding. It's still got to be pegged. Oh, here they are. So, no, that's just the top part. And you can vent out there, I guess, by zipping down the top and then letting some air out there, but nothing at the top. All right, and that is a pretty sizable vestibule. So let's go set up the Dragonfly. All right, so this is the Big Agnes Tiger Wall UL3, and I was gonna pull this tent out and take a look at it compared to the Nemo, and then give you my impressions. But I'll tell you why I don't want to do it, because I want to send it back in pristine condition. I don't even want to take it out. And the reason being is this. This right here is the floor of the tent. And it feels in my hand like I've gone to Giant Eagle or Kroger's and gotten plastic grocery bags. It is super, super thin. And maybe this is a miracle material, but this mesh is super fine. And this is super fine. And while this may be almost a pound, maybe 3/4 of a pound lighter than the Nemo Dragonfly, it packs down to the same size. But compared to this material, this Osmo material feels substantial. It feels like it's a good quality. Feels like it'll hold up. Maybe that little extra weight makes it a little more rugged, but it is certainly, I don't even want to try this. I know a lot of people love it, but I just don't even want to take this out and risk it not getting my return on it, because it is so delicate. I don't even want Peanut. Go. I don't even trust you near it. No, you're gonna ruin it. I mean, it really does not give me a lot of confidence, and I'm sure it's great. I know a lot of people online have been telling me this is wonderful and to use it, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable on this tent, and it just seems like it's a little more sturdy. I am not going to say anything bad about the Tiger Wall. I mean, I've watched a million videos. I'm sure you've watched a million videos. There's sometimes I think people can get over videoed out on equipment, So I'm just going to give you impressions. And and I like the way the lighting is so you can kind of see in here. But the real impressions is that was the color dye, by the way, also. So there were some advantages and disadvantages of that. Some of it's recycled. The colors were better for not freaking people out. I did a lot of research on all of these tents. And these were the two that I came down to, and I really needed to see both of them. I would have liked to have set the Tiger Wall UL3 to see how much bigger it was, but this is plenty big for one person. It's kind of tight for two. Certainly bigger than my Cloud Up that I was using before. But the reality is that I just think that this is suiting my needs. And I think that's part of the thing that we need to talk about, is that it's about your needs and not necessarily that one tent's better or worse. The Tiger Wall, I like Big Agnes. I have got Big Agnes products. I think that they've changed over the years, not for better or worse, just, they've changed as they've innovated and gotten new materials. So, I mean, my parents' copper spur from like 7-10 years ago was a totally different material than the one that I saw my friends who just bought a 2022, and it looks nothing like it. And as far as I know, the Tiger Wall that I just purchased is totally different as the ultralight versus the non-ultralight, and it might be totally different than what was the material that was being made in 2020 versus the material that's being made now. It might be space age material that's the strongest thing ever, and I'm a total idiot, and this is just an inferior product. I just don't think that that's going to be the case for me. I'll tell you some of the other things that I do like. I do like a tent. Again, I don't care if it's freestanding or semi-freestanding, because you're going to have to peg something anyway. So I always thought that was a weird argument. But what I do like is when you're riding a motorcycle, you're always going to have gear that you need to hang out. And being able to hang your socks or your wet clothes to dry out, having a vestibule that has a plastic sheet on the bottom so I can put my shoes and my helmet so it's not all dewy in the morning. If you guys have ever woken up in the morning and your helmets are wet because the dew's gotten in them, that's a really nice feature that isn't on the Tiger Wall. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but I do like it. The Tiger Wall, from the measurements, the vestibules aren't that different. So I think that you're not getting anything there. You are getting more size in the sense that this does taper a little bit at the bottom, and that doesn't happen with the Tiger Wall. Plus the Tiger Wall 3 up there is the same size packed down, but that's a 3 and this is a 2. So that's even bigger than what the Tiger Wall UL2 would be. So I'm certainly losing space. That's kind of like the price. And this is price is a concern. Man, I'm not sure if it's that much different in quality that the Tiger Wall 3 or any of the Tiger Wall's material is that much weaker or not as sturdy. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't tested these things. But that is a good $50 to $100 cheaper depending on the time that you buy it and where you buy it. For 2 stakes that would go here, and the Tiger Wall's post comes this way, you put 2 stakes there, so 2 extra stakes, you could save $100 and get a bigger tent. So I mean, economically, the Tiger Wall makes sense, and Big Agnes has a really, really good reputation. I've never owned a Big Agnes tent before. I was really looking forward to it. It's just my comfort zone. I just don't feel that comfortable. Now, I haven't read all the rules, all the stuff for putting this tent together, but I have a feeling I didn't set it up entirely the way I should, because there are these little hooks that on here and here that I think may go on the fly, and there might be something for the fly to Velcro onto the poles to keep it taut. But most tents are like the way I set it up, where you just throw it over and you peg it and it clips into the bottom parts. Now, I will say one thing that I really, 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 really like, and that is, unlike my Cloud Up, which has the clips, this is a ball joint and it sits in. And these hooks, the fly has something that hooks into here. And that is, I think, makes it really stable because that allows this to move around a lot. And it gives it a lot more longevity, I think. I think that this is probably one of the neatest innovations of the tent. And I think that that is really, really nice. This certainly is nice. Again, you can see the ball joints and then how it stays in there. And we'll see when I take it off how it comes off and works. But I am enjoying this. I also like the fact that you get some privacy here, but you can still see the stars if you take the bit off, the fly off. There are some pockets. Thousands of people have done reviews on this. I'm just kind of giving you my impressions as somebody who backpacks and motorcycle camps, that this seems a little bit sturdier than the Tiger Wall as far as the material, but that's an opinion. I'm not a scientist. Anyway, I am choosing the Nemo Dragonfly Osmo bike packing tent, and this is one more thing about the Nemo versus the Tiger Wall 3. Again, you can see the Nemo Dragonfly 2 Osmo versus the Tiger Wall UL 3, that they were about the same size, but packing the Nemo back down, I had read that it was a bit of a challenge to get it back in the bag, and it is. It is a little bit easier if you put the poles and the pegs in first and then do the stuff stack, but it does not pack down the same way. I don't know what science they use to get it in the first time, but you can do it. It just takes a little finesse. But there's some other little things. If you are a bike packer, and that's what this is designed for, they use these clips, and you can set up so you can get it on your handlebars. And the poles for this are on the outside, which I think is kind of a smart idea. Then you just worry about packing the bag there, and you don't have to worry about anything interacting. That is not the case here. The poles go on the inside with the pegs inside the entire thing. But they have this neat little attachment style here, and this is like rubber, which I think makes it a little bit sturdier. It's always like 6 of one and half dozen of the other, isn't it? When you're making these decisions, they are both really good tents. Like, and one more time, this is like $50 to $100 cheaper, and it's still a really good tent. I just couldn't get over the flooring material, and it just made me uncomfortable to even take it out of the package. And I'm sorry I can't review it, but setting this up, it's more traditional of what I'm used to for material. It even out here the material is a lot like what the tent's made out of. And it's half a pound to a pound more, in all honesty, and the same size. And, backpacking or motorcycle camping, it's not gonna make a whole lot of difference, that half pound, for the peace of mind that it's not gonna rip. Again, I could be wrong, could be a piece of crap. I haven't used it yet. I'll let you know.